There's a book that came out, and it has been the talk of the town, talk of the Asian American community. It is entitled "I Love Yous Are for White People." It was written by an Asian immigrant. Laksu, this is your story. This is your title. First of all, why the title? It's so catchy. But, I mean, what was the inspiration behind it?
Well, I got the title straight from my father's mouth, actually. The first time that I told him that I loved him. Mm-hmm. It was a Christmas dinner that I attended at my arts friend's house, and you know, there in his family, members use those warmth words and sentimental words so easily, right. And you know, I didn't get much of that back home. So I had a revelation that night. I said, well, the reason why, you know, my father was the way he is, you know, we'll get to that later, mm-hmm. Was because I never used those words to him. Mm-hmm. So excited by this new idea, I ran home that night wanting to tell him those 3 words. Right. And the response that I got from him wasn't what I was expecting. Right. He asked me to promise him to never use those weak words to him ever again, because I love yous, those 3 words, are for white people. And
let's talk about that form of weakness. Weakness is something that we as immigrants don't welcome, don't use in our vocabulary, because it takes a very strong person to be able to uproot yourself from anywhere you're from and go to a foreign land and struggle, right. with being an immigrant. And right. That's what the book is all about. What were some of your struggles? I know you're Vietnamese, mm-hmm. But you know, as an immigrant community, as an immigrant people, mm-hmm. we share a lot in common.
Sure. Well, some of the struggles were, you know, mostly inside my home. And part of the struggle was outside in the street as well. I mean, as a little boy playing underneath a mangosteen tree in Vietnam, and life was, you know, stable.
Easy, slow. Yes.
And then moving to Hollywood, California, within, you know, a few months, you know, was shell-shocking. You know, so I had to learn real quick to assimilate and adapt to the new culture that my family was placed in. Mm-hmm. And
some people's means of coping is being, that's why they say Asian immigrants are more vulnerable to joining gangs, because you want to belong, you want to share same experiences with people, and unfortunately that's a form of brotherhood that they find solace in. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a form of retreat as well. You know, we don't want to stay in a household where it was cold and abusive. So instead, you know, we took solace out in the streets to hang around friends that were going through the same things.
Would you say that parents tend to be more abusive or maybe irritable also because of the same struggles that they're going through, also being an immigrant in a different country?
Of course, yes. That's a huge part of it. I mean, having to leave everything behind in your homeland and starting anew here in a country that is so foreign, and to start anew. In my particular case, my father became ill, so he was no longer able to provide for his family. Right. That's when the story, my life, took a little turn.
So what do you think is the biggest sacrifice of immigrants?
I would say spending time with them.
Spending time.
Because we're so busy working, you know, to get...
spending time with family, spending time with family members. Right. And we're so busy establishing ourselves here that we lose time for each other. Yes. What would you advise people? So many people watching us right now, a lot of Filipinos also new here, migrating from the Philippines. What would you advise them? How do you get through this period? Some people never do. Some people have been here 30 years and they still cry. Right. They still don't want to be here.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of suggestions I can offer based on what I've learned, but one crucial thing that I'm practicing myself to my own children is to spend time with them. You know, even if it's 15 or 20 minutes each day, to really talk to your children and listen to their perspective. You know, it might be hard because Asian parents tend to not listen to their children's perspective.
Right.
But it is a new country, with different communication expectations. So I think it's really important to have that dialogue with your children.
Dialogue. And some people find songs as an outlet. We're going to meet a performer later. Songs need not be all about love and sex and violence. Songs may also help you express yourself, especially if you are an immigrant. We're going to meet one such artist this afternoon on the show. When we return, don't go away.
Ang Kababayan LA ay hatid sa inyo ng McDonald's at ang mga bagong McCafe Espresso drinks. McDonald's